This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 8-year-old killed in Clarendon gun attack, father hospitalized. An 8-year-old boy was shot dead and his father critically wounded in a gruesome attack in Hayesfield, Clarendon on Wednesday night. The child has been identified as Thomas James Jr. Police reports are that a lone gunman walked into a shop operated by James's father at their home, purchased an item, and then sprayed the father-son duo with bullets. Both injured were assisted to the hospital, where the child was pronounced dead. The father, Thomas James Sr., was hospitalized in serious condition. The gunman reportedly escaped. Investigations are ongoing. St. Catherine mother and 18-month-old baby missing. 31-year-old Shima Holmes and her 18-month-old daughter, Anastasia Dice, both of Alistair Avenue, Bridgeport in St. Catherine, have been missing since Monday, April 4. Holmes is of dark complexion, slim build, and about 5 feet 6 inches tall. Dice is of darker complexion. Reports from the Bridgeport police are that Holmes and her daughter were last seen at home and have not been heard from since. Their mode of dress at the time they went missing is unknown. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Shima Holmes and Anastasia Dice is being asked to contact the Bridgeport police at 876-988-2697, 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. PNP wants Holness to intervene in Little Bay land squabble. The opposition People's National Party has joined the calls from the residents of Little Bay, Westmoreland, for the government to intervene in what has been described as a bitter and long-running land dispute. On Wednesday, the squabble involving informal settlers reached a peak as residents blocked roads following attempts to bulldoze their dwellings. Describing the situation in the rural community as ugly and volatile, the PNP says Prime Minister Andrew Holness should move with urgency to help protect the interest of the residents. Last evening, the nation witnessed an ugly, volatile situation in Little Bay, Westmoreland, where residents resisted an attempt to demolish their homes and business places and evict them using heavy equipment, opposition leader Mark Golden said in a statement. He added Prime Minister Holness must move with urgency to protect the legitimate interest of residents of Little Bay who are threatened with imminent forcible eviction, even though some of them have lived there for up to 50 years. Golden went on to share that with many of the Little Bay residents willing to purchase the properties they have occupied over the years, the government should make provisions for it to be actualized. Many of these residents are willing to purchase the properties on which they have built substantial homes and business places. The government must intervene and arrive at an acceptable solution that avoids a further escalation of this conflict. Some residents have been paying taxes for these lands and have sought representation from the government through their Member of Parliament Morland Wilson, but have not seen any intervention from the authorities to address their plight. Golden says Holness should intervene before the situation results in loss of property or lives. In March, former government lawmaker and attorney at law Reverend Ronald Thwaites suggested that the government act as a broker between the residents and the official landowners. Indicating that both parties have rights, Thwaites shared that to try and evict the residents that have occupied the land for years would cause civil unrest of the sort that would be very dangerous to contemplate. Thwaites argued that the laws of the country have been developed in such a way that gives strength to people who have occupied land undisturbed for a certain period. The current law gives squatters the right to claim legal ownership by adverse possession of private lands if they can prove they have acted undisturbed as an owner for 12 years or more, or 60 years in the case of Crown property. Tile City employee fatally stabbed at work. An employee of Tile City and Home Center on Compton Spring Road is now dead following a stabbing incident on the premises on Thursday morning. According to the Compton Spring Police, one individual is now in custody in connection with the killing. Senior Superintendent Aaron Fletcher, commanding officer for the St. Andrew North Police Division, told the news that investigations into the fatal altercation are ongoing. I can tell you that the suspect is currently in the custody of the police and the investigations are proceeding along the lines to treat with what has now become an incident of murder. Businessman escapes a murder attempt in Mount Airy, suspect in hospital after mob attack. A man accused of attempted murder is now nursing serious injuries in hospital after he was collared and mauled by an angry mob in Mount Airy, St. Andrew on Wednesday night. The man is one of 3 men who allegedly attacked a popular businessman from the rural community as he drew down the shutters to his establishment. Police report that the men held the business operator with a knife to his throat and informed him that he was about to meet his end. The victim managed to wriggle his way out of the grasp of his attackers and made an alarm, which stirred community members into action. The police were summoned while a band of angry citizens searched for the attackers. The men were held after they attempted to flee in a vehicle. The mob beat and chopped 2 of the 3 men, police report. One man was found bleeding profusely with chop wounds to his arms, back, and head. Police ferried him to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was admitted and is being treated for his injuries. His condition is listed as critical. Residents claim that the other 2 men managed to escape in the hilly terrain. It is believed that one of the attackers escaped a serious injury after he plunged himself into a deep ravine to escape the frotting mob. The car that was being driven by the accused attempted murderers was also burnt to crisp by the angry mob. Detectives from the St. Andrew North Police Division are investigating the incident. Body wrapped in sheet fished from Kingston Harbor. The police are seeking the public's help to identify the body of a man that was fished from the sea on Thursday morning. It was spotted floating in the water near Raytown across from the General Penitentiary perimeter wall in Kingston. According to the police, the body was found sometime after 9 a.m., wrapped in a sheet with its feet bound and a tape around its neck. More details to come. Cops raise alarm over students' pill parties. Drugs also been hidden in resealed snacks. Students have been finding more creative ways to sneak contraband into schools to satisfy their urges for drugs and to foster other illegal activities. Among the latest trends is a practice of opening bags of snacks, loading them with contraband and drugs, then resealing them to avoid detection by school administrators. This was highlighted in a workshop held by the St. Catherine South Police Division at the Greater Portmore Police Station on Tuesday, as they raised the alarm over several issues affecting schools, including an alarming rate of drug use, gambling practices, extortion, sexual activities, teen domestic violence, and the genesis of gangs. What we are seeing and the trends that we have observed in our schools in terms of contraband and drugs is what is known as the ganja cakes, the drops, the alcohol-infused gummies. Detective Corporal Damian Hammond, Safe Schools Coordinator for the division, told the principals, teachers, guidance counselors, and the deans of discipline from more than 25 schools in Portmore. He also pointed to the students' increasing use of a party drug called Molly, a popular rave drug used at nightclubs and music festivals that is of a serious concern to law enforcement. There is an emerging drug outside of the school community known as Molly, and some of our students are attending what is called the pill parties. This is new because formerly you would hear about ecstasy as a party drug, Hammond said, adding that law enforcement was on top of the situation and that the police were currently mulling over strategies to combat this practice. The cops will also be moving to educate students so that they will be able to identify these and know what to consume and what to abstain from. St. Catherine South Police Divisional Commander Senior Superintendent Christopher Phillips, who is also a former educator, said it was imperative that schools be on the cutting edge and be able to identify these trends. He noted that today's classroom is a tough environment, adding that given all the changes in technology and the things students are now being exposed to, there is a need to lend assistance to the schools. He noted that with the majority of students being out of the physical classrooms for roughly 2 years due to the pandemic, there were myriad issues to contend with. You have returning to your classrooms students who are abused, lost loved ones, working students, you have students who got themselves involved in lottery scamming, and are carrying out some of the gang activities in some of the communities returning to the classroom, Phillips said, noting that having the students return to schools without resocialization could spell disaster. He suggested that the Ministry of Education develop a special program to resocialize students. In making designated police personnel available to respond to school crises, Phillips read a list of school resource officers in the different school communities in Portmore. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.